gamers, today we are reacting to Mug Thief's video on the Switch 2. Now, before we even get into this video or what it's about or any of that jazz, I highly recommend you go watch the original video and check out Mug Thief. I am a relatively big consumer of like gaming news and like reviews and such content, and I've been watching a ton of Mug Thief recently, and he's kind of taken over like Luke Stevens and Jake Baldino. So if you're into that content, highly recommend you check out his content. Anyways, this video was very, very interesting. We yapped a lot, so fair warning, lots of pauses, lots of yapping. Yeah, I hope you enjoy the original video, and Mug Thief will be linked at the top of the description. Right below that will be my Twitch stream. Would love to see you over there sometime. I go live 3 days a week. We'd love to have you. And if you do enjoy this video, feel free to drop a like and a sub. It would mean a lot. And with all that being said, enjoy. Let's see what Mug Thief got to tell us. By the way, chat, here's the original video. Be sure to either go sub and like, or if you're really trying to show the original creator some love, throw it on in a background tab and watch it, or just watch this video itself and then come back and watch me when you're done. And if I make this YouTube content, obviously I'll leave the creator and the video linked at the top of the description if you want to go check it out. I highly recommend you watch his video first and then come back and watch me yap about it. Okay, cool. Let's get it.
Dug themselves into a hole. A very...
Let me know if the audio is too loud, by the way.
Very dangerous hole. And when everybody came to their rescue and tried to help them out, they looked at all those people, telling them how to get out of the hole. And the only thing they thought was that they needed a bigger shovel. And that is because
this
Nintendo has responded.
I'm just gonna say that real quick.
People have pretty universally come out to...
Ooh, chat, hype train, we got our rewards. Oh, yo, that one's fire. That one's fire, bro. W again, PC Gaming Forever, for being an absolute G and fucking making the hype train happen, dude. Thank you so much, brother. Again, appreciate you.
To criticize them for a lot of their decisions regarding the Switch 2, primarily the price point of the console, and especially the price point of the game. And amidst all of that criticism, some of the things that they have come out and said, some of the ways that they are defending their decisions, does not just make them sound tone deaf, it confirms that they are. It confirms that their hubris has gotten way out of hand. And it is some of the craziest stuff that I have ever heard from different executives in gaming of Ubisoft and EA. But before we look at those responses, I want to talk about a quick thing that might not seem related now, but you'll see. So I want to read you guys the definition of a fallacy known as circular reasoning. Circular reasoning, or circulus indemonstrando. This is a type of reasoning in which the proposition is supported by the premises, which is supported by the proposition, creating a circle in reasoning where no useful information is being shared. This fallacy is often quite humorous.
Oh, bet, Tori, sounds good.
In its logical form, it can be understood that X is true because of Y, and Y is true because of X. Sorry for that interruption, but now that we're done with it, let's look at these quotes from Bill Trinan, who is the Vice President and Head of Player and Product Experience at Nintendo of America. When asked about the price of Mario Kart World being $80 for its digital edition, its physical edition still to be confirmed in some territories and confirmed to be the equivalent of $90 in many other territories, he had this to say: I would say it's less about the strategy of pricing Mario Kart World, it's more just whenever we look at a given game, we just look at what is the experience and what's the content and what's the value. And
well, wouldn't that technically contradict themselves because they're selling Breath of the Wild for like $90, right? And that game is like old now. Isn't it like 8 years old, right? So wouldn't that like contradict there because you've already sold that game for $60 before and now you're putting out a new system and you're making it 90? Isn't like what the heck?
And honestly, this is a game that is so big and so vast, and you will find so many little things in it to discover. And there's still other secrets remaining that I think as people end up buying and playing the game, they're going to find this to be probably the richest Mario Kart experience they've ever had.
Well, yeah, I would hope so. It's freaking open world Mario Kart. Like, I mean, I don't know, dude. Maybe I was doing it wrong, but I didn't feel like I had a crazy rich experience of Mario Kart before I just, you know, did the races against the little computers and sometimes against friends. Like, was there Was there more Mario Kart? Was I missing out, dude? Do I need to fire up the Switch and start playing some Mario Kart, dude? So I can know what he's talking about? This is an executive.
And so in this quote, and some others that we're going to see in this video, Bill here is saying that Nintendo isn't pricing the game at $80 to change the industry. They just look at the game and decide what's the value of it based on how good they think it is.
They're huffing their own farts.
Trust me, guys, when I say that we know that the value of the game is high because we've played the game and we know the value of the game is high, so you should pay the value of the game that we say is high. And you know what's the saddest part about all of this?
I can't think of a roast. Never mind then. It's okay, Sharks. You don't have to have a roast, King.
And since we're on the topic of logical fallacies and stuff like that, I want to apply one of my favorite things, which is the philosophical razors. I really like to apply Hanlon's razor everywhere in my life, which says that you should never assume malice where there can be stupidity. However, to me,
that's actually so fire. Oh my god, I gotta start doing that more, honestly. Like, I try and do the same, but I've never like thought about it like as like whatever, like really like had a, what's the word I'm looking for, like a saying to bring it back around to for that. I just try and do that a lot of the times, like stupidity or just like, lack of self-awareness. So I guess you could say stupidity in some ways. But I don't really consider people stupid that don't have self-awareness. I just think they haven't really like looked very much inside of themselves. But anyways, yeah, that's fire as hell.
Stupidity is just a little bit malicious, so I like to change it to ignorance. And I think that
ignorance. Yes, that's what I was looking for. Chat, I know you don't mean anything by that. You are just stupid. I think that's what I'm gonna start saying. I'll be like, you don't mean to be mean. You're just ignorant. You're just ignorant to my feelings. Yeah, no, it's fine. That's the cross I bear that's the cross I bear as a streamer. It's fine. You guys are just ignorant and mean to me. It's fine, but you aren't really mean. You're just ignorant. You're just dumb. Imagine somebody says something mean to me from now on. I'm like, you're not mean. You're just stupid. I'm both mean on purpose and ignorant. I don't know what you're talking about, Ami. You've been kind to me. Now, I don't know how you treat Valen, so do you gonna start World War III? Yeah. Actually kind of be fun, Be a little silly. Guys, I'm not gonna lie. There's like a bump on my arm that wasn't there earlier, and I'm kind of afraid that like a spider bit me or something. Oh well. Let's see if I get really lightheaded and die. At least my stream will pop off on LSF.
Nintendo here. I think that they aren't doing this with evil in their hearts. They're just genuinely this delusional and unaware of how much they are about to destroy.
I was gonna die to clip farm. Yeah, literally, bro.
Industry. And I'm going to show you exactly how that's going to happen. Woo! Which, by the way, hi, I'm Mug. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to cover these topics. The slippery slope of pricing, all the different ways Nintendo is trying to justify this, and how they make no sense. How Nintendo is just being greedy. I have receipts. The lasting impact that this is going to have. And number 5, we're going to look at how this will damage Nintendo, not just the industry.
You know what, chat? I'm going to stand up for what I believe in, like I've been doing with Madden every year, and not buying Madden. Okay, I'm also going to do that with the Switch. Now, was I going to be able to buy the Switch before? Before I said I was going to make this statement? Yeah, totally. I was totally going to be able to afford it.
And we're going to refute a lot of the different claims that people have that actually the Switch 2 is going to be amazing and
that's
will not
real,
suffer
Ami.
because
That's
of these
real.
decisions at all. There's handy dandy chapters down below if you want to skip to anything.
I'm not broke.
I would strongly appreciate it if at some point in the video you hit the like button. That YouTube really likes that.
We got you, King. We got you.
Think about subscribing if you like essays and reviews and news of video games and stuff. Okay, but you don't have to do it now. Do it when you consider that it's good. All right, just later. Let's get into it. So Nintendo has decided to exercise their power.
Don't worry, King. I saw that beautiful hair and that amazing mustache and beard, and I realized that you had a lot of swag. So I already had to like it and subscribe.
They do have of pricing their games however they feel like. And here's a very hard truth we need to accept right at the start. This is how the market works. They decide the price of stuff, and then people decide if they're willing to pay it for that or not. While I think that $80 or even $90 for video games is ridiculous, and it has a lot of problems on how video games work that we're going to look at in chapter 4 of this video, my main issue is not with people charging more for games. It's with how they are choosing to justify that price change. This is the slippery slope.
Yeah, but also, Josh, that's if the Switch is $500, by the way. Because, with the tariffs like they're talking, it realistically could shoot up to $600, which is crazy. But yeah, dude, that's fair. It's fair. I'm gonna be honest. Like I've said before, I'm not like if GTA 6 they have like a roadmap for putting it on PC, I'm probably just gonna wait on that, to be honest, because I'm not trying to drop $500 on a console just to play a single game, even though I'm sure GTA 6 is going to be absolutely amazing. Weirdly enough, it seems like every time that I have like got on a game, like making content late for it, it's actually done better. So I'm okay with that for right now, honestly. I mean, maybe I'll reconsider, but I don't know. Julia, in the US, the next iPhone Pro Max would be 2.5K because of tariffs. At this point, just move to another country. Heartbroken emoji. Nah, dude, that's wild. If that's true, that's crazy.
As Doug Bowser himself said, what you see right there is variable pricing. We'll look at each game, really look at the development that's gone into the game, the breadth and...
We should have known this shit was coming when the dude who's now the CEO or whatever of Nintendo's last name is Bowser, dude. We should have saw this coming from a mile away.
Depth of the gameplay, if you will, the durability over time, and the replayability of gameplay experiences. Those are all factors, and there's many more that go into consideration of what is the right price point for the game. So I think you can anticipate that there will be variable pricing, and we haven't set a benchmark.
Dude, okay, is there going to be a game that comes out for Nintendo Switch 2 that is $60 on launch? Is that what they're saying? I feel like GTA 6 will drop on PC later on, like GTA 5 did. Yeah. I just hope that they give like a release date, you know? Like if they're like, yeah, it's coming out and, you know, we're releasing it in September for consoles, and in February we're going to release it on PC or something like that, then like I'm chill with that. But if it's like Red Dead, where they never announced it or anything, I mean, obviously they'll release it faster. My guess is 1 year after. That's crazy, bro. Dude, I hate the motherfuckers who jumped on Nintendo for delaying pre-orders due to tariffs. Like, y'all want to complain about pricing, but when they pause pre-orders to make sure what the price will be so you don't pay, then get shocked if you need to pay more, then that's also an issue. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Like, it's a very volatile time for prices and stuff, and, you know, obviously, like, the trading of goods and stuff, clearly because of these tariffs. So, I mean, I don't know, dude. For as much as I'm not exactly a humongous fan of Nintendo right now for trying to charge a $90 or $80 or whatever for Breath of the Wild, I do understand it from a business standpoint, because they can't get like fucked out of millions and millions of dollars because of tariffs, you know? They have to wait, literally. I don't know.
He sets the example of how Breath of the Wild was $60 and Tears of the Kingdom was $70, which at that point was the new standard for most games, because that's how much time there was between those two games.
Right.
And he uses the standard of pricing that everybody else set at that time as an example of Nintendo's unique strategy of variable pricing. And that's where he continues to really highlight the danger of all of this. I think that for us, that's really how we want to proceed and go forward. I can't speak for other games that might be released by other publishers or other platforms.
Right.
It's more about what we think is right for our content. What is the right value for the consumers as they come into our platform? Doug Bowser.
I don't know. I can wait, though. I'm still having fun on GTA 5 RP. Maybe that's what I'll do if I really get an itch for GTA. Maybe I'll just do GTA 5 RP while I wait for GTA 6. But I've never been like, here's the thing. My mom wouldn't let me play GTA games back in the day when I was younger. So I think that I'm like less attached to those games and playing those games than I am other games. Like Red Dead, if they were doing Red Dead 3 right now, I might be like, yeah, dude, I gotta buy a console. But GTA, like, you know, I totally get why people love it. It's just like, I don't have that connection with it. So it's like, I could probably wait. I could probably make it work.
In that sentence, just set up on a silver platter the opportunity for every other publisher in the world to start charging $80, $90, $100.
You already know Ubisoft about to tap in.
Because when we break down all of this mumbo jumbo, what it really comes down to is that a game should be priced according to the value of the game, on how good it is, on a bunch of different factors. How much was spent on development? How good did the final product come out? How enjoyable is it? How replayable is it? How much does it offer to the customer? Kind of this old bullet list style system that we used to have of, oh, this game comes with multiplayer even if it's garbage, that's $10 more on the box type of mentality. The problem is that the people deciding that value is them. So this comes with a whole host of problems, obviously. Even if we ignore the many number of different variables within game development that could be used as excuses to raise the price of a video game, let's just focus on what's here right now. Mario Kart World is a premium video game. Its quality is $80. Donkey Kong Bonanza? That's a lesser game, man. That game's only $70. It's not as good. That is what this is saying. The variable pricing is on what makes sense to us of the value the game offers.
What happens if it comes out though, both these games come out and like Donkey Kong is like getting like 8s, 9s, 10s out of 10s in reviews, and Mario Kart World is getting like 5s and 6s? Is Nintendo gonna be like, oopsies, well, we'll adjust it? Or are they gonna be like, no, we really feel that this game is awesome and you guys just don't get it. It's going over your simpleton heads. You guys aren't malicious. You're just dumb. You're just stupid. You guys are just too stupid to understand how amazing this freaking game is. Also, I will say, I think people are freaking out more than they should. I feel like no matter what, games will jump up anyways. It's going to happen. However, that's only first-party games. There are so many great indie games and other games that will be cheaper. And I get the first-party titles are why people buy Switches, but I still feel like people need to focus on indie titles too. Yeah, I mean, it would be great if people locked in on indie titles. I mean, that's like 100% where my hope is. Indie titles and AA games is 100% where my hope is for like the future of this industry. I just think it's lame. I think like trying to push it to $90 is a lot. I think if they maybe made like a, $70, like makes sense. Like that's kind of where the industry's going. Maybe even like 75, and like slowly and then bump their way up to 80. I just think jumping out of the gates at $90 after making your console, being the first ones to like jump the price again for things to $500 for the console with the game or $450 is a lot. Yeah, again, I think like if Nintendo had just been like, okay, you know what, we're gonna fucking wait a little bit, but I know they want to get these games out and they want to be there before the next launch of the next like generation of consoles and whatnot, but they just waited for PlayStation or Xbox to take the hit for their new hardware to be more expensive.
Josh says Todd Howard is coming in his office right now because he is seeing that he is going to be able to put out Skyrim for the 30th time, but this time sell it for $80.
No, dude, no. Fuck, you're so right, dude. And if they actually make the Oblivion remaster, oh my god. Dude, when is that shit gonna drop, dude? Please, Bethesda, please. All these insiders, they're like, no, we know. No, it's coming soon. It could be soon. It could be soon. Please, just give it to me. I want it inside of me. Pause.
Offers to our consumers in exchange for their
yeah,
money.
dude. Sorry to pause them again. My bad. But Red Dead RP is fun. Yeah, dude. I honestly need to tap in on Red Dead RP. I feel like that would be my vibe. And Vice City since first grade. That's awesome, dude. That's actually awesome. Yeah, I wasn't allowed to play GTA until I was like 15, dude. I mean, I like bought GTA 5 and would like sneak it every now and then, but like I couldn't like play it out in the open. You know what I'm saying? I had to hide that shit. Anyways, dude, we got this is some people might be like, this is you're drinking a whatever drink, but got the alcoholic Seagrams open. Shout out PC Gaming. This I would like to dedicate this alcoholic beverage to you, Goat, for dropping those subs, and to the homie Peach for the huge raid earlier. Shout out both of y'all for being legends, dude. Red M servers make it a new game with mods. Yeah, dude, I gotta mod it too, bro. Honestly. All right, team, add pets to this upgrade and get it out for $85.99 by Christmas. Let's go, team. The Bethesda fans need Skyrim. Yeah, the Bethesda fans need an upgraded version of Skyrim. What do you mean our old version of Skyrim's backwards compatible with the Switch 2? It doesn't matter. Wait, did they say if it's going to be backwards compatible or not? I feel like they said that, right? Didn't somebody talk about that?
Moderator 1 year subscriber.
Oh my
the
God.
Love, just Josh P. All right, team, add pets to this update and get it out for $85.99 by Christmas.
I would just like to let you guys
Let's
know.
go, team. The Bethesda fans need Skyrim.
I can mute these, okay?
So now let me ask you a very simple question. What publisher, what human wants their games to be immediately perceived as lesser value? As non-premium. Do you guys think
that's actually a really great point? I wasn't even thinking about that. Oh my god, dude, I should have thought about that. But that's actually an awesome like way to describe it, I guess, or just like theory or like idea for this is like, yeah, you don't if Nintendo's like our games are quality, we're making them $80 or $90. You don't want to be like, well, our games are lesser quality, we'll sell them for $60.
When Borderlands 4 launches on Nintendo Switch 2, it's going to cost less then Mario
Chat,
Kart.
how do we feel about Borderlands 4? How are we feeling? Give me your thoughts. Do we have any OG Borderlands fans? Oh my God, is that Watch Valen with a 7-stream streak? Oh my God, how's it going, Pookie?
World. Do we think that 2K Games and Randy Pitchford are willing to announce to the world with their price that they are not
Bye. Oh my God, Valen, I love you.
to the consumer?
Dude,
as
fuck
Mario
yeah,
Kart
Ami.
World? Of course not. Mario Kart World has 80, maybe even $90 of value to a consumer, and GTA 6? Oh, that's probably like 120.
Or Nintendo should have waited until GTA 6 dropped. Or just wait, and Rockstar's like, yeah, this game's gonna be $130. This game's gonna be $150. And everyone will be like, okay, yeah. And then if Switch comes out here with like, yeah, we're gonna charge our games like, 80 or 90, then everyone will be like, well, they did charge a lot for, I did just buy GTA 6, so I guess we'll allow it.
There's a value to the consumer. And the consumer is not the one that decides it. It's the people making the game based on whatever they feel like. I find it hilarious that if at least...
I still do not think Rockstar is going past 100. Really? I'll be interested to see. Honestly, I don't know either. Again, yeah, I guess like looking at it from like a company and marketing and like if I'm like a fucking billion-dollar company myself like Nintendo, I don't know if Nintendo is actually $1 billion or whatever. But I think Nintendo is, again, just like the first company to jump to this height. And they're getting the backlash from it because it was like whoever jumps it first. Ubisoft kind of did with Skull and Bones, but I think whoever was gonna jump first was gonna get the backlash like this. Rockstar will charge 70 or 80 and make bank on shark cards. I think if they're smart, they'll do that 100% because that's like where they make all their money now with GTA Online. I'm really concerned that they are not going to figure out how to transition GTA Online correctly, and then we're just going to get stuck with GTA 5 Online for forever. Like, I'm high-key afraid of that. I don't think it will be that way, but, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, my God, dude. If Rockstar Games makes a single-player DLC... Oh, we should on Nintendo. Count me in, piss guy. Yo, W-mans. W-mans. If Rockstar does, like, a single-player DLC for GTA 6, I will never talk shit about them in regards of GTA 6. I will still talk shit about them for fucking up Red Dead Online, but, Gala, how's it going, goat? Oh, yeah. 100% this shit would have happened anyways, and no matter who did it, they would be hated. Could have been Xbox or Sony. Yeah, dude. Honestly, I think it's smart on Xbox's part to be like, yeah, let's get some integration with Steam here, and we'll let them do their thing, and then we'll launch our console a little bit later.
At least we were looking at this situation from the perspective of a game's price will be decided by how much it costs to develop. I don't think that's a correct formula at all, but I could at least accept it. It would, in my mind, make some sort of sense. But this idea of a game should be priced
the same thing was not for Xbox? Wait, what?
How good it is, how much replay value, how much you get out of the game is ridiculous to me, because then we should have all paid like $150 for Baldur's Gate 3, a game that came out at $60 in the times of the $70 game, by the way. By that same token,
Xbox is trying to make the launcher of all launchers. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I thought for some reason. Maybe I'm tripping. And wants people to launch Steam. Oh, really? Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. No, dude, it should be the other way around. They should be like, Steam, would you please include us in your UI? Would you please include us in your launcher so that they can launch? Could you make it so that they can buy Xbox Game Pass on Steam? Doesn't EA have that set up, right? Where like EA games that are a part of the EA Pass or whatever are included. Xbox should do that. Xbox should do that. It would fucking make them a fuck ton of money. It would literally print them dollar bills. But they want to be stubborn. Sorry, I keep pausing on side content so much. I'm sorry. Let me lock in here.
I should have paid like, what, $400 for Balatro?
Yeah.
Should have paid like $1,000 for Factorio? Got 400 hours in Marvel Rivals. Should I be paying a monthly subscription of $50? And I know somebody out there right now watching this video heard me say that and said, well, that's what they are worth to you. But those games aren't worth anything to me because I don't like them. To which I want to say, exactly. At the end of the day, these pricing structures will work if the consumers that like the games being priced that way consume them. If they go out
I need to play this game.
They will be justifying that price tag. The danger that comes with that, with not complaining about these changes, is that the way that the industry is standardized in its prices and how that is the equal playing field for competition has now dramatically shifted, with the new price point being if you don't cost the same as Mario Kart World, that is because you are admitting that your game is less premium. Unless you're a Baldur's Gate 3 and you can prove that you are equally premium, then if for some reason you're charitable to people. So let me end this chapter off with a very clear message. This isn't just raising the prices of video games to a new...
Dude, I really need to play both Kingdom Come Deliverances. I kind of have an idea for my main YouTube channel. I really, like, if this... I'm going to give it, like, another month, excuse me, with this, Oblivion remake. And if they release Oblivion, the remake, then I'm going to play that, and then I'm going to play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and make a video, like, comparing the two, kind of, to be like, yeah, like, so they remade, like, let me compare and contrast, and, like, talk about what I like about both games, and, like, where, like, one is better than the other, even though it's not really fair because one's older, but it is, like, a remake, so, like, I feel like it's fair to draw a little bit of comparison. But if that doesn't happen, then I'm just going to play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Standard at which everybody has to position themselves in equal quality and value as what Nintendo has decided is a new price point. This is also opening the door for other people to raise the price further and justify that.
It really is a slippery
by saying that their game is worth it because they say so. And I can think of quite a few companies that are eager to do that.
We're looking at you, Ubisoft and 2K.
When the competition that they're placing in front of them is
and Bethesda.
Mario Kart World. No offense to Mario Kart. I love Mario Kart, okay? It's just like, let's be real for a second. But now,
fuck you, Bethesda. I paid $100 for the fucking deluxe edition of Starfield. That was the most expensive 8 hours I've ever had, dude.
Now we move on to a very interesting question. Why would Nintendo do this? Some of you immediately answered that question with greed. And congratulations, you're correct. But a lot of other people are saying that inflation, that they have to adjust their prices to that. That
you're gonna shut up? Why, Josh?
And the people who work at Nintendo need to make a living, and they should be properly compensated for their talent and the excellent games that they make. Which is a really funny thing to say because it implies that in recent years, with the Nintendo Switch operating as it has, a console that is incredibly old.
Oh, about Starfield, bro. Oh my god, I was thinking about how every game that I've pre-ordered, I know I said like a little while ago, like, yeah, the last like 3 or 4 games or whatever. No, dude, every game that I have pre-ordered in the last like 3 or 4 years, I think has been a dud. Because let me think here. Saints Row, 2022, Starfield, Star Wars Battlefront, the like re-release, okay, of the first and second one, which I do want to play those again soon because I love those games so much, even though they were pure ass and still have some issues. I'm trying to think of anything else that I've pre-ordered. But those 3, bro, those are some of the worst like reviewed like releases of the last like while. In Starfield, to be fair, Starfield, I think if you play enough Starfield, it'll grow on you, and I should play it again, give it another try. It's just like it was not at all what I was hoping it would be, you know? It like did not reach the levels of like what I was crossing my fingers for.
Point that they haven't been making money in the last years when they have hand over fist.
Damn!
There's this very rarely often used expression that I'm sure that most people have never heard before. It's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Nintendo had an excellent price point from the launch of the Switch and an excellent price point for their games by keeping them accessible to the majority of people, by making sure that the Nintendo Switch was appealing to as many people
I'm getting
as
distracted. I'm getting distracted by this guy and all the good games he's putting me onto right now. I was gone for like 30 minutes. You're not even halfway into the video. Yeah, dude, that's how we be doing reactions around here. I don't ever want to do a react where like I feel like I can't add at least the same amount of time as the video, or at least like close to it, you know? This game I pre-order was Hogwarts Legacy. Oh, dude, what a banger to fucking pre-order. At least in my opinion. That game's, I gotta play that game again, dude. Oh, that shit was so good. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I pre-ordered. I don't really think there is. I honestly probably should have like pre-ordered some of these indie games that I really have wanted. And I still need to buy a couple indie games. I gotta buy that fucking, that one where you're like the club, whatchamacallit. I gotta buy a Mascot Agency. I keep forgetting that Mascot Agency dropped, dude. I gotta play that shit. I'll have to look through my game library at some point and be like, oh, I pre-ordered that, and I pre-ordered that, and I pre-ordered that. I think maybe the last like good game that I pre-ordered. No, I haven't beat Hogwarts Legacy yet. No, Josh. I don't think I'm even like halfway through that game, to be honest with you. I've been getting so sidetracked with that shit. But maybe the last good game that I pre-ordered was fucking Far Cry 5 in 2018. Maybe that was the last good game I pre-ordered. I'm trying to think. I really can't think of anything else I pre-ordered. Okay, how much longer so I can set a timer? I have no clue, to be honest with you. I have no clue. If I start yapping with chat, it could be another 40 minutes. If we just watch the video through, you know, it could be another 15. I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of the react around here is, it's usually more of me just yapping than actually the video.
And they have decided to price themselves out of that accessibility because it doesn't matter how much you want to adjust for inflation. The reality is that most people's cost of living has gone up way more than their overall earnings and wages have. It doesn't matter what the little inflation calculator says. The truth is very different, and you have to go out there.
The truth is very different. People are making basically the same amount of money. But, you know, shit keeps going up, so they literally cannot afford to buy the games now. Okay, it's 5. I stayed up way too long. Josh, come on. You guys see the end of the video. Okay, Josh, sleep well, goat. Also sounds good. Tori.
And experience it for yourself. Not to mention that this is something that affects the entire world, not just whatever microcosm we are in. This is why, effectively, the $450 starting price for the Nintendo Switch 2 is pricing themselves out of a very large demographic
Josh, thank you for hanging.
That they have dominated for many years. And they are aware of this, and they are still doing it because they're greedy. How greedy are they? Well, enough to call us broke boys. Good old Doug Bowser said that we recognize there are some people that may not be able to afford the Switch 2. That's why we wanted to make the other Switch platforms available.
What?
Oh, what's that? The Switch 2 is too expensive for you? Don't worry. We're going to keep updating the Switch 1. Just go buy that. Just buy something from me. That's all I really care about. All right, thanks. People quickly all over the internet.
Hey, bro, just go buy the little light. Just go buy the little light switch, bro. Go buy the one that you can't plug into your TV or none of that shit. Just go buy that, little guy. You don't have the money for it? Get on out of here, dude. Hey, at least he's here for chat. You don't see that much. I gave someone 1,000 bits and got ignored? I'm sorry, bro. What the fuck? That's lame as hell, dude. Yeah, bro. I say it all the time. But like my all-time goal for streaming is to get like maybe like all-time like greatest, like my greatest aspiration is like 1,000 viewers, because then I can still like somewhat keep up with chat, you know? But yeah, I really try never to like ignore. I unintentionally ignore a lot of the times, but yeah. Really the goal is like maybe like 100 viewers all time. That would be like my all-time goal with streaming. I've been in his closet for hours and he hasn't even noticed. What?
They compared it to Don Matrick in 2013 at the announcement of the Xbox One, when they were criticized for having a console that required an online connection to do pretty much anything. And Matrick responded by saying that if you don't have an internet connection, Xbox has a product for you. It's called the Xbox 360. And so Doug Matrick was born. The point is that Nintendo is acutely aware,
But Xbox went back on that, right? Didn't they like go back on that? I think I remember that, dude, because I was tapped in on that. It was my first console war I was tapped in on. I was like, oh man, they going band for band right now. And I bought my PS4, dude. Yep, I bought my PS4. I was like, I gotta serve my goddamn country. Okay, gotta give me a PS4. That's the reason I got a PS4. Dude, same, bro. I mean, back then I really did not like have any internet. I was 360 ride or die. Yeah, dude, same, honestly. And then my 360 got the red ring of death. And then I was like, I'm a PlayStation fanboy.
Not just about the price of the Switch 2, because they were very informed by literally everyone on the planet shouting drop the price at them, but they're aware that they're pricing themselves out of a significant demographic.
So works, dude. Hell yeah. I do want to get another 360. I've been looking for like a really cheap 360 somewhere, which is probably not the best look if I'm trying to avoid the ring of death, but I've been looking for a cheap 360 somewhere because I have some 360 games and just like, you know, I'm sure you know the nostalgia of that shit, bro. It was also, you know, there's so many like simpler games. Only game I have for it right now is Fable 2, dude. That was like one of my favorite games in my childhood, and honestly, probably still like top 5, maybe top 10 games for me. Yeah, dude, that was one of my favorite, or that is like one of my favorites all time. Fable 2. Fable 3 was actually, I actually really like Fable 3, even though people really hated it.
They still have the Switch 1. And trust me, the comparisons to the Xbox One continue here to a certain degree because a lot of the Nintendo Switch 2's whole game plan is about its connectivity. It's about Nintendo finally reaching the internet era and making that a central focus. They have harped on and on about how Nintendo Switch Online is an integral part of the Switch experience. So much so that they have reconfirmed multiple times that the C button that activates game chat will not work if you don't have Nintendo Switch Online. You can't reprogram it, you can't rebind it, you can't make it work as a different button. You either have Nintendo Switch Online and it's the game chat button, or you don't have it and it's the we're going to advertise game chat to you button. A dedicated button to remind you that you're not paying to use the button. What's even worse than that is that probably some people will be confused as to what their C button is supposed to do. But don't worry, because Nintendo has you covered. The Switch 2 has a fantastic interactive manual to teach you everything about the console. Very similar to Astro's Playroom for the PS5, except that this manual that will teach you stuff about the console costs $9.99. Many people have criticized this, but Nintendo has defended it by saying that it is not an exorbitant price. If you're a broke boy, just say so. Bill Trinan, very similar to what he said.
Dude, holy shit. Hold on. Broke boy, just say so. That's so fucking funny, bro. Oh my god. Dude, you kidding me? For $10, I bet you could get almost any one of these bundles here, or like get close to it. Hold on here. Let's just look at a couple of the ones that have like games that I know. This, $16 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. Okay. Or this Neon Lights, $14 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 games, bro. Oh, you're just a brokey if you don't want to pay $10 for a singular game. Don't even get me started on Steam. You could probably mix and match games, or Fanatical, right? Is that that one site? You probably get fucking, 5 or 6 games out of $10 on either of those platforms. Like, what the fuck?
About Mario Kart World, and just the amount of detail in that game is worth $80, has said that the welcome tour for Nintendo Switch 2 has a lot of great...
I can get a 25 key pack on G2A for $9.99. Yeah, dude. I mean, they might be slop games, but you can get at least 25 keys for $9.99. Like,
detail in there. It's a pretty robust piece of software. For the people who care about the manual for the console, they're really going to love this product at $9.99. It's good value for what you're getting, and this is where that famous Reggie Fils-Aimé quote has originated from, where Reggie said that he had to convince Nintendo Japan, he had to beg them to include Wii Sports as a pack-in for the Wii, considering how new and strange a lot of the technology of the Wii was. And I get,
dude, I got that game too, Ami. Dude, yeah, I got that one too, bro.
that since the Switch 2 is just the Switch, but
I haven't played it yet, though.
We should charge them.
Oh my god, I should play that for fucking Patreon. Oh my god, I should play that for Patreon, dude. Holy fuck. I wonder if they'll get my Patreon account dinged. I wonder if they'll get the Patreon account, like, they'll be like, yo, sorry, you can't upload this, little guy. Maybe I'll just like title it like the most problematic simulator game. Which, by the way, if you guys are interested in the Patreon, it's $1 a month. You get exclusive Chrissy content every single week, at least one video, sometimes 2 or 3. I also upload some of my freelance work there, and if you want to grab a free membership, you get 5 exclusive videos. Woohoo! But don't feel like you got to. Like I said earlier, don't ever feel like y'all gotta give me money. Anyways,
little introduction of it. But don't worry, guys. There's a ton of Nintendo charm in everything regarding Switch 2 Welcome Tour, as this video from Video Games Chronicle shows off, with mini games as exciting as Guess the Frame Rate, so that people can distinguish between 60 frames per second and 120.
Oh, awesome.
How can we look at these things and not see the greed?
It's been taken down for TOS? Really?
And how
oh my
can we not
gosh.
see that the greed has passed over the line of what is acceptable? And on top of all of this, they've confirmed that the Switch 2 cartridges taste bad, like the Switch 1. That is definitely a bridge too far. What? There's got to be like a moment of levity in the video, okay? That's the best I had. Oh, I hope that was funny, because the next 2 parts of the video much less funny. Economics of stuff. It's important, okay? The Switch 2 is setting a standard for what video game prices should be, as well as setting a standard for how they should be calculated. How to objectively, that's not possible, by the way, but let's roll with it, right? Objectively evaluate the value that a game has to some percentage of the people who would theoretically be interested in the game. Nintendo might have done this in their ignorance, not realizing what they were doing, but the truth is that once the genie is out of the bottle, you can't put it back in. Once this conversation has been out there in the open, you can't silence it. Even if Nintendo were to backpedal right now, and say that actually that pricing is a mistake and that Mario Kart World is going to cost $70. We've all experienced that.
Damn, don't taste good, not buying it. If it don't taste like Jolly Rancher. Yeah, dude. Fuck the. Hey, you're telling me you're gonna make your little cartridge taste like a Jolly Rancher? You're telling me that every cartridge isn't gonna taste like another flavor of the rainbow? I'm not fucking interested in your dumbass console anymore, bro. Dude, it's crazy. I'm just thinking about it right now. Like, if the Switch ends up being $600, like realistically, if you say like $200 or $300 more, you could build yourself like a pretty okay PC, and then you could just get games way cheaper, like not Nintendo games. Like if you are a Nintendo freak, then like, yeah, hell yeah, dude. Sorry, not a freak. If you're a Nintendo stan, you love Nintendo games so much, then like, hell yeah, dude, turn up one time. I'm sorry that it costs so much money to do that now, but like, if you're just a normie, bro, like, just be a little bit more, be like slightly less normie and tapping on a PC, dude. And I feel bad, like, I don't know, probably younger me would have like been like, oh, I'm gonna get a Switch too. But it's like, dude, just get a PC, bro. Save, like, actually, like in the long run, you will probably, I don't want to say you'll save money for sure, because like, you know, equaling out like how much PC parts, because PC parts are probably gonna go up, and you know, buying games on PC and stuff. But I don't know, dude, if games are gonna cost like $90 a pop, and you're just like trying to play games to have a fun time, like if you're just looking for good games, like it doesn't matter to you if they're Nintendo or not, you can get them on PC way cheaper, dude. Way cheaper. Nintendo games are free on PC. Wink, wink. Is my response to that. I haven't partaken, but I know you can, you know, wink, wink, you know, get involved in that.
Initial shock of the price changing. We absorbed it, we discussed it, we were disgusted at it while discussing it, but now we are more mentally prepared for what is to come. The next time it comes around.
Oh yeah, isn't like almost every Soul Calibur like taken down now because they don't have the licensing for the stuff anymore, right? Or like not like readily available. I'll give my money to companies that deserve it. Yeah, that's fair, bro. That is so fucking fair. That's why I'm like trying to make sure that I spend more money on like indie games and shit, of like games that are like creative or like trying to do something new, or like that I'm really like passionate about, is because I don't really want to like, you know, I don't want to particularly give my money to, you know, Ubisoft. Respectfully, they had that tweet that was kind of fire, but like, respectfully, guys, I'm not trying to spend $70. I paid $1,200 for a gaming PC with a 4060 in it and a Ryzen 9. Good thing is you can upgrade PC instead of dropping more into the next console. Exactly, dude, exactly. And you know, again, other than like the exclusives, which like Xbox, you can get all of their exclusive games on PC, obviously. Sony's come a little bit later. It's really like Switch that you're just missing out on, like Nintendo. So like if you aren't a Nintendo fanboy, and I think that's the other thing for me, is like I'm not particularly a Nintendo fanboy. Like my first console was a GameCube, but I didn't ever really get into it because me and my family were too broke to afford Nintendo games. So I never could play the Nintendo games. I had the person that gave us the GameCube gave me Super Mario Sunshine. And that was the only Nintendo game I got to experience as a kid because they were all too expensive. I got Mario Party at a GameStop and I was like, what is this? I don't know if I got a bad one or I just didn't like it because I was young and stupid, but I was like, what is this? No, I'd rather have like pretty much the exact same thing that I'm saying to you all now. I'd rather have 4 or 5 different, like at the time I'm pretty sure I said better games than this. Like this is so expensive. And I like heard about how people love the game so much, but I was like, no, I'm good. I'll play Battalion Wars. I'll play Battalion Wars. That's cool. Yeah, the 64. Dude, fuck yeah, bro. I did have a Nintendo 64, but that was like way later. Played WWE, I think, on that. Played 007. I did play Mario 64, but it didn't like, I don't know what it was. None of the Nintendo games ever really clicked for me. Wagon, what's up, homie? How's it going? So I guess that's another thing, is like I'm somewhat biased watching this video. Is like I'm not a Nintendo fanboy, so like I'm gonna chill on these on the Switch too. So you know, take what I have to say with a grain of salt. Obviously, even more than you were before.
And we will continue to be angry. We will continue to point out how problematic it is, but we will be more willing to accept it because that shock, Nintendo was the one that gave it to us. Because I do think that if they lowered the price, they would overall be winning more because more people would not just have a very positive impression of Nintendo.
Dude, this motherfucker's
as
putting me
a
on to
company
go to
willing
games right now. Literally like a bunch of, like I've known a couple of these games that he's like, here on the screen here, showing, but I didn't know about this one. I didn't know about like
to admit their faults, but
a couple of the other ones.
Price
either.
would make it accessible for people, and it would sell more.
What the
and that
hell?
is the
I gotta
most
tap in on
important
this.
part of
Sorry.
all of this. The lasting
It's not important.
change that comes from this is that once that genie is out there and the prices increase, a lot of what gaming is changes forever. And that's because there is this invisible threshold, whether we realize it or not, and sometimes it's very difficult to realize it because we all live in our own personal bubble. And what certain amounts of money mean to each of us is very individual and dependent on our own life circumstances. But there is a threshold between gaming being a relatively cheap, accessible, and very value-driven hobby that is always appealing and interesting to everyone, and gaming being an expensive hobby. One that is reserved for the people who have not just the time, but the money as well. And while we can say that gaming has always been an expensive hobby, it is now that we crossed that threshold that we can look back on it and say that it never was truly that expensive. It's more that it had the potential for people to spend way too much money on it, but if you wanted to have a very satisfying time, have a ton of fun with video games, really
that's real PC
get
gaming.
invested deep into the hobby and enjoy just a ton of amazing experiences, you didn't need to spend that much money.
I'm good. Been off Twitch for a while because I finally got my license at the ripe age of 24. Yo, hell yeah, homie. What's new? How's life? And also, so fair. So fair. I actually took kind of a little break from Twitch myself there for a few months.
Money to stay up to date with current releases. This is the moment that the cheaper, more toy-like company releases their latest toy at a much higher price. This is the point where games for that console go up, and it would be pretty logical to assume that other games for other consoles that are more the big expensive ones are going to cost even more.
You know what? I'm just thinking, right, with this, it's like my thing thinking about the Xbox and PlayStation and now the Switch 2. I know that Nintendo kind of has their their backlog of games that you can get if you buy the Switch Online, right? But and I know they're more expensive, the Xbox subscription and the PlayStation subscription, but they have hundreds of games on their Xbox Game Pass and then whatever PlayStation's thing is. They have hundreds of games on there, dude. I don't know, man. It's just so hard for me. I can't, again, as a not Nintendo fanboy, I can't really in any way justify spending this much on a Switch. And I do think it's annoying. The more that I'm listening to this guy be very reasonable about this and explain it very well, the more I'm yeah, that is fucked. Yeah, it's fucked that they're charging us this much money, dude. The fuck? But yeah.
The $450 Switch 2 with its $80 to $90 games means that in 2 years nobody's going to bat an eye at the $700 PlayStation 6 and its $100 games. That's if that doesn't happen sooner rather than later on the games front. That changes so much of the perception of the hobby. It might...
Chat, do we think that Hollow Knight Silk Song is actually going to come out this year? Didn't they already have a release date at that one Sony event? Were they 2022 or some shit like that? 2021? Or am I tripping completely? I feel like I heard Atriarch talk about it. Life is good. Just been working and driving anywhere and everywhere. That's awesome, homie. I was literally talking about earlier. I was yeah, it's been a minute since I just took a drive. I love to just go drive a random back road and listen to music and clear my head. It's been a minute since I've done that. I might actually tap in on that either after stream, get a little morning drive in, or I might just wait till tomorrow and then go drive when I'm not streaming that day. But yeah, homie, that's awesome. I'm glad you're doing good. Thanks for stopping in, checking in, and saying what's up.
Seem minor, but when it comes to the overall perception of things, it's the difference between signing up to the baseball club or the golf club. And the final result of it all is going to be that gaming as a whole will be less popular, and it will shift and change in ways that I don't...
Well, I'd like to make a distinction. I think console gaming will be less popular, because console gaming has been so Like, I feel like that's been a majority of the way that people play games, but I think there is more, like, with the way that streaming is becoming more popular and, like, in the kind of like more of the mainstream now, and YouTube and stuff. Like, I think more people are like kind of aspiring to have a PC. Like, when I was younger, nobody was like, yeah, I'm gonna build a PC, or like I'm gonna buy a gaming PC. Like, now, like, even talking to like Twitch chatters that are younger, they're like, oh yeah, I want a PC, or like I'm gonna buy a PC, or I bought a PC or whatever recently. And also this thing, dude, they're actually like kind of juicing, not that, like, I know some people like have a debate of whether mobile gamers are gamers or not, but like there is a lot of fucking games on phone now. So I don't think that gaming as a whole is going to get smaller. I just think that like console gaming and accessibility to console gaming is going to get smaller because the prices are raising. And again, like, at least in America, like, I don't know the exact statistics, but I don't think that the average income is raising as much as prices are raising. And they definitely haven't upped the, national minimum wage in a very long time. So, I don't know, dude. People are already struggling to make ends meet,
This is the type of thing that makes free-to-play more appealing. This is the type of thing that makes phones and mobile gaming.
There we go. He literally, he already went there. He's like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, this guy, we're on the same page. I really think, if I'm really thinking about it now, right? I think, and this isn't my idea of like good, but I think if Switch was smart, they would Nintendo and, Sony or Xbox or whatever, they would have a flagship franchise that was free, like, on the release, and there was, like, a season pass of some kind. Because I think that's so the model right now. A game that's, like, free, it's, like, a well-known, like, oh, shit, Mario something, Donkey Kong, whatever, something like that. And then have a game, like a season pass with it. So everybody who buys the console gets it, and they're like, oh, wow, this is like a flagship. And not make it like, don't make it some bullshit like Star Wars Battlefront 2 levels of bad, but like cosmetics and, I don't know if you got Donkey Kong out there doing emotes and shit, but like, or Mario, but like something like that where, and you have to have the online, so they can also capitalize on that, on their yearly online prices. But I think that would make the most sense. It would also make people happy. Like if somebody like Nintendo did that, they were like, hey, yeah, a lot of our games are going to be $80, but we're going to give you this one for free. We'll give you this one for free if you have I'm sure people would still be upset about it, but I think it would be a way better marketing ploy for them. I don't know. Just an idea I had as we're watching this video, thinking about it and thinking about like, we were talking about GTA Shark cards earlier. We're thinking about like, which I'm not saying it should be like GTA Online specifically. I haven't played enough GTA Online to have an opinion on whether it should be like that or not. But I just think like now is the era of the Game Pass. And again, not that I'm saying that not Game Pass, Season Pass. And I'm not that I'm saying that this is my idea of like the perfect world, but I think it would make more sense for them marketing wise. Yo, Sylvan, welcome back in, bro. Yo, hell yeah, on the PC, bro. Fuck yeah.
Appealing. This is the type of thing where less parents are going to be willing to introduce their children into video games because they perceive it as an overly expensive hobby that they don't want them to have. And we'll be able to see how all of that is true.
That Witchbrook game does very much. There's a bunch of games here that like catch my eye, and I'm like, damn, bro, I probably like these games, but it's like, again, I'm not gonna pay fucking $450, $500 for the Switch, and then another like, probably the cheap end of these games are gonna be $50. So I'll wait till they come on PC, possibly. I've had a few PCs and PS5, and my PS5 is collecting dust to Steam. Good on console. You need a capture card and shit, where if you got a good PC, you just need the game in OBS. And I don't like mouse and keyboard, and know a few people that don't, but I run controller and like PC way more. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh, run control. Wait, did you mean controller? But yeah, dude, I totally feel that, bro. That's the thing. Like, dude, I just feel like if you're just looking for like the best gaming experience, and this is, I'm very biased. I've been on PC I bought my PC in I think the end of 2018, I think was when I bought my first PC. So we're coming up on 8 years now. Wait, no, 7 years now. Sorry, not 8 years. We're coming up on 7 years now. But I think if you're just looking for overall the best games, or like the maximizing your enjoyment of video games with what's available to you, it makes way too much sense to get a PC and then use Steam, Itch, even Epic Games. The fact that they give away games every single week Oh, Sylvan, I don't know if I told you about that, but you might already know about that since you just got your PC. 2018 was 7 years ago. Fuck, I'm old. I know, right, dude? I know, bro. It's so crazy to think about. And like GOG and shit like that. Like, there's so much available, bro, on PC compared to Switch and even like some of the other consoles. Like, again, like that was the thing for me when I was like making good money in 2021. I was like, maybe I'll get a PS5 if that's the only place I can play the Knights of the Old Republic remaster or remake or whatever, you know, which still is in development hell, allegedly. That's the last I heard, is that like they're still making it. It's just, you know, switching hands and it's in hell right now. But I was like, yeah, maybe I'll get it for that, and then I could like play The Last of Us finally. But now both The Last of Us are on PC, you know. Chris, would you ever consider playing Ready or Not? I might, maybe. Well, PC, I can mod anything too, so it's hard to get bored of games. That too, bro. And I know they try and like do that with like you know, Skyrim and Fallout and stuff. I don't know if they still do that. That's at least how it was when I had a PS4 with that shit. But like, it's not the same at all. Like, you can, with all the mod packs, especially with how Nexus has made it so easily moddable with collections, like with Skyrim, with a copy of Skyrim, which you can get on key sites for cheaper, or catch it on sale on Steam, a copy of Skyrim and a fucking whatever Nexus subscription is, $5 a month. You know, you buy that once every now and then to download a collection. You can have 1,000 mods installed on your Skyrim, and it's a completely new experience. You can do a playthrough like that, experience that game for hundreds of hours, then be like, okay, what's a different collection? I'll put this collection over here, and let me start a new collection. Yo, welcome back, Tori. Overcooked is on sale for $6.24 right now. Oh, dude, fuck yeah, bro. I gotta play that, dude. I bought that game a long time ago. I haven't played it. Overlooked 2. Yeah, I think that's the one I have. Still not done? Yeah, we're yapping, bro. We're yapping. I think we've gotten through about 7 minutes since you last left. Yeah. Steam sales are nuts. They really are, dude. Is it like a big Steam sale right now? Or is it just like a random little like game sale? Dude, Stilfen, wait. Whenever there's a Steam Next Fest again, bro, you gotta tap in. There's so many good demos, bro. I've found so many goated games. I think a little one, yeah. I was gonna say, I don't think it's like a spring sale or anything, right? Summer sale is gonna be insane, dude. If I were you, I'd start putting a couple bucks away every now and then for the summer sale, because those are insane, dude. Dude, yeah, I got you, bro. I got you. I'll let you know whenever like I catch something going on Steam. But yeah.
When we see
you finished 3 Daz videos? Yeah, dude. I'd be a yapper. What can I say?
That the sales figures for the Switch 2 are not going to be great. I've seen plenty of people say that none of this matters, that the Switch 2 will sell one.
I don't know. I'm sure he's going to break it down more. I don't know if I agree with that. I think there's just like such a normie audience. Like, this might be fucked up to say, right, chat? But like in my head, the normal Switch enjoyer like lives in suburbia. They don't know that a Steam Deck is a thing. They haven't thought about building a PC because they kind of like work like a normal ass job and like just kind of like just chill. They aren't like a very intense gamer. They're very casual. They're like, ooh, maybe I'll get Luigi's Mansion on my Switch and play that for a little while. And then, new Mario Kart's dropping sometime. I'll get that and I'll play that for a little bit. Like, they aren't like a hardcore gamer. Like, they're like also, you know, probably make above the average income of people. Like, I feel like, I don't know, dude, I'm broke as shit, bro. Like, but I still found a way to build a PC. I don't know, dude. I don't really know if like I'm encapsulating basically like the thoughts I'm having in my head. I just don't know if the core audience of like Nintendo enjoyers are really gonna be that as affected as like the overall gamer is, if that makes any sense at all. I don't know if I did a good job. I actually know I didn't do a good job articulating the way I feel, but I think some of you guys might like on the same wavelength as me understand what I'm saying. Like Steam, I still play Black Ops 3 map. Yes, dude, the maps on Steam. Dude, you're reminding me, I was really talking to my boy fucking Tater Man the other night about playing some Black Ops 3 zombie maps, dude. That shit's so goated. On Steam modded, so they're easy to get done don't get me wrong, some modding gets hard to do, but YouTube helps. Oh yeah, dude, that's the other thing. Is like there's so many resources available now. I'm gonna go to bed. I'll check in maybe one more time to see if you're done by the time I'm tired, but just in case I don't, good night. Yo, sleep well, homie. I appreciate you. Also, don't diss Switch owners. I have a Switch I got for like $300 on Facebook. Oh dude, I got a Switch too. Yeah, no, and also Maybe that's why I have that vision of like Switch owners, though, to be fair, because I literally got it when I was working my normal job, quote unquote normal job, when I was younger, and I was a very casual gamer. I was not like grinding games at all. I was like, I just want something that I can like, you know, sit. Like we had like where we were living at the time, there was this deck with like a picnic table there. I was like, I just want to go out like in the evenings and play my Switch and not worry about anything. Like that was my vibes that I was looking for, which I think is just like the normal vibes of someone that owns a Switch. But I think it still could affect them. Like I don't think it's going to sell as well as the first Switch. I could be wrong. I am with him on that, but I don't know if it's going to hurt just as much as, I don't know, some other fan bases might get like priced out, if that makes any sense. Yo, Tori, sleep well, homie. Appreciate you. Thank you for hanging.
Not going to be great.
Have a good day tomorrow and sleep well.
I've seen plenty of people say that none of this matters, that the Switch 2 will sell wonderfully and everybody will have to eat crow. That none of it matters, that Nintendo wins regardless. And they point to different sources of evidence, like some of the pre-orders that have opened up around the world, selling out within very small amounts of time. And just the same as people who said that the price of the Switch 2 was decided because of tariffs, just for Nintendo to come out and say, no, it's not because of the tariffs. Actually, we have to wait and recalculate based on tariffs now. People will soon realize that, of course, it sold out because it...
Oh, because people thought the original price was because of tariffs. And now they're like, wait, no, it wasn't because of tariffs. No, now we might have to make it $600.
It's the new Nintendo console. But how many people do you think are buying the Switch 2 at launch for their kids or something? It's tech enthusiasts. It's
Should I buy FNAF 2 for full price, which is $8, or should I wait for a sale? Honestly, I'm not sure, bro. It might be worth. I mean, $8 is not that bad. I would say check some key websites. Like G2A is a little bit iffy because they're like iffy on where they get their keys. But I can check here in a minute once we get done with this video for a website that I use that like tracks basically where like you can buy ethical keys and like the lowest price of them all. So I can send you that and you can check and see if it's cheaper anywhere else. Yo, what's up, CV? How's it going, bro?
Viewers, it's YouTubers, and it's diehard Nintendo fans, a company that historically has had way too many diehard fans willing to buy everything that they do and scalp them. This is a company that could sell out plastic figurines with an NFC chip. Of course, the diehard fans are going to consume everything that they do, including the Switch 2. It's going to sell out day one, but that's because of the supply that's going to be available on day one. What happens when we reach the holiday season? What happens when, during the holiday season, less and less people are buying it because it's too expensive? Because a large part of the Switches and the Wii's demographic, which are casuals, don't want to buy it because it's too expensive and the games are also way too expensive.
Fuck yeah,
what happens when the Switch 2 isn't?
Sorry, I meant to pause there. That's my bad. I didn't mean to talk over, bro.
The hot commodity of Christmas. Well, one of the options that wouldn't be new for Nintendo is for them to cut the price, which they did with the 3DS, and they turned that whole thing around. And look, great for them. It's a very safe and sound strategy, right? You get to charge the most.
Is CD keys like technically like a ethical key distributor or whatever? However, people like kind of like police it on the internet. Yeah, I feel like it. You could also check Fanatical. That's another key site. Fanatical, Humble Bundle. I always say check Humble Bundle. Biggest key site in the world, I'm pretty sure. That makes sense, honestly. I feel like the Switch is going to be another PS5 issue where people are going to buy them and then flip them. That definitely could be a thing. Yeah, because did that happen with the original Switch as well? What's a key? It's basically just like what they give you to activate your game. Like the game that I played earlier, they gave me a key. It's basically like a code, and then you enter it into Steam. You copy and paste it into Steam, and then it gives you the game. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, you have a copy of this technically. Like you own this because you bought this key. Here you go. It's in your library now. That's real, Puddle. That's real. Allegedly, in Among Us.
To your diehard fans that are willing to do anything for you, and then when things aren't going your way, you finally listen to the majority that said that it was too expensive.
Real, real.
And then hopefully you turned it around like you did the 3DS, and you make a lot of money up front, and then you have a successful, long-lasting product afterwards. And the people who get screwed are the first adopters. What a surprise. But what I think is even more probable and more worrying is that they don't. That this is the price and they stand by it, and if you're a broke boy, just say so. And then that very wide spread of gaming. This idea of anybody can just go and buy a Switch and it's a great way to get into gaming, to start enjoying the hobby, to experience wonderful things. Slowly and slowly starts to get gate-kept by prices and prices. And gaming goes from this wonderful thing that everybody should be able to enjoy into an elitist club of people with too much money to spend.
Yeah, dude, I agree with that so much. I totally get this now. Like, I think some people will probably see this video as just bitching, but I think really he's just trying to defend the art. He's trying to defend the art. There we go. Okay, I think I stumbled on my words there. Of gaming. Like, this dude doesn't want people to get paywalled pretty much completely out of the ability to play games, amazing games, which is what Nintendo makes, you know? Even though I'm not personally like a super fanboy of Nintendo games, they do make great games, and they shouldn't be held high just for a certain class of people, you know?
There is a threshold, and
like healthcare, but I'll keep us away from my,
Lol penis.
Nice. That actually brings us right back to where we needed to be, the vibes.
For as much as you can take out whatever calculator you want and say that the $450 of the Switch 2 isn't very far from the $300 of the Switch 1, if you adjust for inflation, that's not how things work. $450 is a lot of money for people who are today struggling to keep up with inflation because their jobs don't pay as much, or because the small increases that they
hey guys, get a load of this communist over here. Anyways, I'm gonna go out on the yacht now and make fun of this guy. It's like healthcare, lol penis.
have seen at their jobs are now being spent on how the average cost of living has very quickly changed according to inflation. And now they...
What? Does this commie over here want to be able to afford rent?
have even less disposable income than they had. And I do truly believe that not only are we crossing that threshold now with the Switch 2, and that...
What's up with this commie? Does he want to be able to afford his groceries and be happy?
As I've made clear in this video, it sets up a very... very scary future for other consoles and for games in general.
I get what I'm hearing right now, but I fully agree. W.
It's all that much worse because it's being done by Nintendo, the company that everybody just kind of understood to be fun games, and that's it. The cheaper, accessible, fun.
You're the chosen one. You were supposed to bring balance to the Force, not destroy it. What the fuck?
Console.
My bad.
One that
I'm
you
being
buy
cringe.
your kids.
My bad.
And they're the
I'm being
ones
cringe.
changing all of it. Now, what'll happen with all of this, I do not know, but I always try and stay as optimistic as possible with everything. And it's one of the staples of the channel.
As a hashtag broke bitch, I'd love to be able to afford games and food. Call me a commie and twist my ass hairs if you don't like it.
You're welcome. Yeah, we're gonna get into some good stuff. And for me, the most important silver lining of the entire situation is that people are making their voices heard, and hopefully that will translate to sales. People screaming during the entire Nintendo Treehouse to drop the price in chat is poetic, but it is exactly what we have to do. Boycott, complain, make it clear that these prices are not acceptable and that they are pricing people out of enjoying their hobby.
I'm not gonna lie, and this might be like some doomer, and also like people might unironically call it like some like whatever commie whatever shit, right? This might be a crazy take. But I feel like Nintendo sees that all these other companies are just like kind of like bulldozering their like, user base, and they're like, well, we'll just do it. Like, it doesn't matter how much backlash they get. Like, they're just gonna be like, well, fucking don't buy it then. Whatever. And they're still gonna be okay. Like it's like fucking Madden, dude. It's like Madden in pretty much any other sports game. They just keep making the same slop, and then everybody keeps buying in the first 2 fucking weeks, dude. And they're like, hey, we don't care. Our numbers are amazing. We're in the top 10 most sold games. It's like, dude, if at some point people are gonna have to actually start, like, I guess, like, voting with your wallets. I guess the simplest way that I can say is like, even if you love Nintendo, you should wait a while before you buy this fucking Switch. You should wait until they drop the prices, or buy it pre-owned. That is the best way to do it, bro. I get that games now are way more expensive to make than games were like 10 years ago, but everything was way better when new games were like $30. Yeah, dude. Why would they fix an issue if they're making money? Exactly, dude. And that's the problem, bro. Like, again, like pre-owned, or just don't fucking buy it if you think you can like not do that. I'm gonna be honest, Madden got me this year, bro, but it got me way later. I got it like at the end of football season. But the last couple of years, I've been like, I'm not fucking buying this game. They weren't stupid. Games being cheaper equals more sales. They wouldn't lose money. Yeah. And like, I get it. Like, you know, it's been $60 for a really long time. And like, adjusted for like, I don't know, would it be just inflation? I tracked it the other day. And like, games now, like, they upped it to like $60 in 2008. Now that would be like 80 something, I think it was. But still, dude. Pre-owned games, holy shit, I forgot about that. I've been on PC for like 3 years now. Yeah, dude. Yeah, bro. Simpler times, dude. GameStop. Yeah, no, I looked into it, and from what I've read, FNAF 2 doesn't go on sale like ever unless it's a bundle, which IDK, when the last time that was? Oh, that's real, bro. Yeah, it probably won't go on sale on Steam for a while. I literally have like 2 stacks of old Xbox 360 games on my shelf, and I didn't even think of that. Yeah, dude. I literally went through the other day because I forget what I bought, but I was like, yeah, I think I want to get an Xbox 360 and like play the games on stream and shit. And then I went through a box because I have all my old PS2 games from my grandparents' house because they had a PS2, and I like pretty much keep all of it there. I have like probably 15 to 20 Xbox 360 games, and I was like, dude, holy shit. I was like so stoked. It was like Kid on Christmas almost. Anyway, sorry, so sidetracked.
And to see that Nintendo is at least listening and panicking at it is very good. At the end of the day, video games will survive in one way or another because competition will remain and it will be healthy. And hopefully, because of that competition, other alternatives, be that Xbox's hybrid or the Steam Deck, if Valve somehow wants to try and court the casual audience or something, or some other product will exist to offer alternatives and keep things in line while still pushing forward this medium we all love. I truly believe that.
I mean, again, not to be on my commie shit, but like that ass, if capitalism is going to work the way it should, then yes, we should at some point get somebody that is like a good competitor, which will force Nintendo to be, you know, play nice. I just feel like right now Nintendo has such like a stronghold on specifically their market, you know? I think that's why the PSP or Nintendo DS era was so good, is because they both were kind of somewhat trying to like share the same market, and they both were trying to like innovate and make good games. I don't know, maybe that's just nostalgia. Is That's Not My Neighbor good? I personally have heard a lot of things saying that it is not that good. Maybe the first one is, though. My friend Deadass had a cursed Xbox. He borrowed 3 games over the years. All of them came back with the Rings of Death. The worst part, they still fucking worked in his Xbox. That's insane. It's like dogs marking their scent. His Xbox Ring of Death. And would still use them. That's crazy. Hi, Chucky. We need Pound World devs to make a fake Mario Kart. That's so fucking real.
That nobody's ever going to stop me from playing a ton of indie games and having a great time no matter what. I just think that Nintendo has made that road much more difficult for them.
Oh, I was thinking, That's Not My Neighbor. I'm so sorry. I was thinking of My Friendly Neighbor. Yeah, That's Not My Neighbor's pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. It's okay. A lot of people love it. Like, it might be Stilfen, if you like stream it on YouTube, people might fuck with it heavy. But yeah, I personally can't play for more than like an hour. I'll be like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose my marbles.
And maybe for all of us. I hope that whatever happens, we make our voices heard, and that Nintendo and everybody learns a valuable lesson. Having said all of that, I've been Mug. And if you enjoyed this video, if you found it entertaining, informative, in some capacity made your day better, consider hitting that like button. It helps the channel grow, helps the video reach more people, which is amazing because it means you think more people should watch this, and also because you watched it. And that is the coolest thing that could ever exist
to get back
in
to
life,
Game Boy days.
In my humble opinion. I'm still over the moon every single day that people choose to watch these videos, so thank you. If you want more from me, including news, reviews, and of course essays and retrospectives, things like this very video, subscribe. We have a ton of reviews coming up soon, and of course that subscriber number helping the channel grow means that there's going to be even more news and reviews directly correlated to that number getting bigger. So welcome if you choose to do so. And speaking of
I have
supporting
no
this
clue,
channel and making dreams come true, a very special thank you to the people on the $1 wall. Be they patrons or members here on YouTube that support everything that I do directly. I thank you so very much.
W.
And no matter what chaos,
That's awesome. $1 wall. That's fire.
drama, or excessive greed is
Wait, I might have to, I'm not gonna lie, I might yoink that or yoink and twist it, dude. The $1 wall. Because I already do the little the little drop down where I'm like, thank you to my Patreon members at the beginning of every video. But we might have to turn that shit up a little bit more. $1 wall. I like that. Be like, shout out my $1 wall for real. My $1 balls. How about that? We'll make it our own. Ooh, we'll make it our own.
is happening out there in the world. Remember to go out there and enjoy some great video games. And I will see you again
Hell yeah.
very soon.
I get behind this guy's vibe. Some shit I'd fuck. Oh, didn't mean to click on that, but hell yeah, dude. Some shit I'd watch when I'm super high. I'm not gonna lie. I just throw the shit on while I'm playing Madden. I dropped him a sub, dropped a like, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. Sorry, Nintendo, my wallet is in another castle. Chat here. Let me give you this guy's link again, in case you guys want to tap in, dude. Yo, shout out again to PC Gaming Forever for the successful hype train earlier, by the way. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I meant to open up this. That's my bad. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Why are sales down? The never-ending cycle. I'm not broke, but I'm not going to buy it. That's real, dude. Nintendo's solution to poverty, just be rich, bro. Yeah, literally. So a guy named Bowser is evil and trying to kill Mario. We live in a simulation. Yeah, literally. I remember when we were told that digital, non-physical games would make them cheaper. Funny how that never happened. Well, actually, if we're looking at like Steam and stuff, it did. But, you know, for these corporations that you could probably argue, I mean, you could argue that Steam is like evil too, but like for these type of companies, it's like, you never know. You never know. But yeah, dude, amazing video, amazing breakdown.